Well, my brother had thought I was too sensitive to come back to New Orleans because he had seen the damage first, and I thought, well, if I'm not inspired as an artist, which I always have been in New Orleans, then it was time for me to leave. And by the time, I'm doing the drive around the city to see how things were, because he really only remembered it how it looked before the storm until he saw it. And by the fourth McDonald's sign, I knew what my project was, the one on the Legion Fields, which was really warped. And then it just got started from there. I started finding canvas in the street, in Bywater and Marigny area, and started painting them in my friend's storm-damaged house. And submitted it for a grant to Joan Mitchell Foundation. And then I was able to do all 40 and document all of them in New Orleans, St. Bernard Parish, Mississippi, and in Texas. And then began painting.
What was the last one you painted? Is it in this room?
It is. It's the
remember?
one in Terry Parkway. Yeah. I was kind of tired by then. And the first one was actually the one in Metairie. Oh, it's right here. This is the one. This is the very last one I painted. Just kind of sketched in. And that's on the West Bank.
Now, how do you know when your series is done? I mean, is it something that you feel like it's in yourself, that you've said what you have to say, or?
That's right. Yeah, and it's like the curtain closes, and I just can't do any more work on it. I still have the palette I was using for that 10 months, and it's exactly as I left it. It's just cruddy and full of oil paints, and just it looked like a lot of hard work. Just kept that palette because as a reminder of all that work.
Now, I noticed that a lot of your work does involve almost like a portrait of a landscape in a series. I mean, and
yes.
Is this something that your inspiration comes around from your environment, and new projects and new series, how does that come around? I mean, of course, Hurricane Katrina was a big part of how the signs were destroyed, but for yourself?
Well, just documenting all these neighborhoods, it just felt the more you drove around, the more, I mean, it's amazing how large the damage was, and came to an end as I physically came to the end of touring the destruction going all the way to Mississippi and everything. And with the new series, it's just living in I don't know, a destruction zone.
Yeah.
The Living with Blight series, if I had driven into one more pothole without doing something artistically, I just felt like I wasn't going to be able to stay here. So I just started doing I call it the therapeutic series, Living with Blight. And yeah, now I've become fascinated, and it's just endless. I don't know how many pothole paintings I'm going to have when it's over, because there are a lot of potholes.
And I know that your background in terms of being born in New York, living in France, coming down here and really just falling in love with this city, you are committed to New Orleans in a lot of ways, and you do feel like you're from New Orleans in a lot of ways.
Yeah, this is definitely home. But the serious thing, I forgot about that. Yeah, being a kid in New York, the influence of Andy Warhol and pop art was everywhere. I mean, every advertisement, all the billboards, everything was repeated. I remember the Gap ads from when I was a kid. They were like trees with big platforms, shoes and bell-bottom pants, and everything was repeated. And it was just cool. I've always liked that.
So that's one of the big influence on how you.
Oh, yeah.
In terms of your work, you do want to work in series and telling a story.
Right. And just physically, I think working in theater also, just this idea of filling up a space and becoming saturated with a concept, to be surrounded by an idea, I like that too. So I see them as installations.
Thank you, Michelle.